See the last question. Drought has been recognized as a disaster in view of its spatial expanse, temporal duration, slow onset, and lasting effects on vulnerable sections. With a focus on September 2010 guidelines from NDMA authority, discuss the mechanisms for preparedness to deal with likely El Nino or La Nina fallouts in India. Very big question. Basically, it is asking you what are the impact of drought and how to handle the impact of drought. Okay. Give me the framework. Okay. So basically the question looks very huge and so challenging, but it's a very simple question. It's asking you what are the reasons for drought, measures and conclusion. That's all. Yes, Jitendra. Basically, what are the reasons for drought? Okay, you can write, and then in the reasons, then you have to say in the context of 2010 guidelines, you have to mention them, the 2010 drought guidelines, and those are the measures which have been incorporated, and the preparedness. Okay, the preparedness should be in line with the guidelines in the 2010. Okay, so in this question, in this kind of questions, except for the September 2010 guidelines, remaining the entire part of the answer is your answer. So whatever you want to innovate, whatever you want to give as a measure, you can always give, not at all an issue. Okay. So here, what you can write is drought is a prolonged spell where there is no rain and the agricultural output of that particular area is impacted. Okay, so those are the droughts. Then you can say it is because the droughts are such a phenomena, the duration of that particular long dry spell is very high and across a big area, and it is impacting many sections of the society. Hence, the impact of drought is also now categorized as disaster. Like how floods are disaster, now drought also is a disaster because it is also resulting in lot of loss of lives. So in that context, what are the 2010 guidelines given by the NDMA, that is the National Disaster Management Authority? They wanted to form special cells for targeting the drought prone districts and then categorizing the districts which are prone to the droughts within a particular state and giving them special focus. And the local administration and the civil administration should prepare a plan to fight the contingency of the drought. If there is drought, what are they going to do? So those kind of solution-oriented approach, they should be ready. Okay. And also, El Nino and La Nina. So that will be the last part. No? So we are still in the second part. We are talking about the guidelines with regard to the NDMA. Discuss the mechanisms for preparedness to deal with likely El Nino and La Nina. So that will be the next part. Okay. So the question is on 3 parts. So we'll write the preparedness for El Nino and La Nina in the last part. So those are the guidelines which are given by the 2010 NDMA Act. Okay. Then what is the preparedness? To discuss the mechanisms for preparedness to deal with likely El Nino or La Nina. So what will be the preparedness? First, what is El Nino? El Nino, because of El Nino, there is a prolonged drought-like situation in India. The rainfalls are hampered. The rainfall is very less in a year, which is impacted by the El Nino. You write that one line, that if there is a monsoon, the monsoon conditions are impacted, mainly the southwest monsoon conditions are impacted, and there is lesser rainfall when compared to the normal rainfall because of the impact of El Nino, and opposite or vice versa for La Nino. You can simply mention that and then start writing the measures required or the mechanisms required for having preparedness for El Nino, because El Nino is nothing but indirectly they are asking you what are the mechanisms to prepare for a drought. So what do you have preparedness for drought? Basically, when there is a drought, you will ensure that the farmers who are the primary sufferers of a drought because the impact because of the lack of water supply, the crop production is impacted. You need to have proper insurance schemes like the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana or Raitu Bima in Telangana. So these are crop insurance programs which have to include the drought also into their insurance program. So farmers should not suffer revenue impact due to prolonged El Nino or La Nina. First point. After farmers, next is what the area will be impacted very significantly because of water shortage. Drought is significant water shortage. So proper water connectivity or water supply should be ensured to those areas which are impacted by the droughts. And next, you have to create public awareness as to how people have to be responsible in using the water during the droughts. Okay. And the food should be distributed among many people. Okay. Food has to be equally distributed via ration shops. Okay. So these are also called as PDS shops. From PDS, the ration supply has to be given to the impacted districts in a rational way. And then during droughts, there is also a possibility of people becoming anemic because of lack of food. So proper medication and nutrition should be ensured by supplying timely food to the people who are impacted by droughts. Okay. And the way forward would be to identify these drought prone areas. The solutions, the last part will be the solutions. Though the question is not directly asking you solutions, you will mention solutions. Solutions.
Sir, we missed that La Nina thing.
Okay, see, La Nina is basically opposite phenomena of El Nino. La Nina generally brings the floods, not the drought. So that's why I am avoiding here, because the entire question is about the drought. La Nina is an opposite phenomena to El Nino. It actually brings more water or more rainfall into the Indian subcontinent, and hence it can be having more impact on bringing the rainfall than the drought. Okay.
So can we mention about saving the water when the La Nina happens, so that we can use it for the El Nino?
Okay, you can write that. See, I'm just seeing here, it brings, El Nino brings less rainfall and La Nina brings more than normal rainfall. So obviously sometimes La Nina brings floods also. I don't know why they have integrated these two parts, but if you have to answer La Nina, maybe you can do as Rajni said, you can simply say La Nina times bring more rainfall to the Indian subcontinent than the El Nino. So the excess rainfall during La Nina can be stored in the reservoirs and can be diverted to the drought prone areas during the El Nino. So that is the preparedness. You can connect both the phenomena. Okay, Jitendra?
Yes, sir. Or else we can write such a preparedness for La Nina also. It might be some.
See, preparedness for La
Yeah, sir,
Nina
yeah,
is
sir.
something, preparedness for floods. Preparedness floods already we have done. What will be the preparedness
Yes,
for
sir.
La Nina? La Nina means above normal rainfall. Above normal rainfall can be slightly normal rainfall, all floods. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
The
sir.
definition of La Nina is above the normal rainfall. If it is 100, 102 is also La Nina impact. So what is the preparedness for proper rainfall or slightly more than proper rainfall? If it is abnormal rainfall, it is floods. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
So maybe preparation for La Nina can be, you can say La Nina is vice versa of El Nina, and it may give enough rainfall so that this excess water can be stored and used during the drought seasons. So I was telling you about the solutions. Yeah, solutions part of the drought impact is having proper storage mechanisms for water, using water in a very judicious way and not, being very careless about usage of water. Then asking farmers to grow crops which are not consuming lot of water. Okay, like cereals, not moving away from cereal crops and crops like sugarcane, and growing crops like millets, so that which can consume less water and still grow and give proper benefits to the farmers. Okay, and then you can say having proper awareness. Yes, developing water resistant crops or promoting dryland agriculture. Dryland agriculture is also one of the solutions for preparedness of drought, because droughts, wherever droughts occur frequently, those are dry lands. So dryland agriculture. And then you can write, we can involve institutes like CREDA, Central Research Institute for Dryland Agriculture. So bringing them into focus. So all these are the solutions, and then conclude MSP reorientation towards drought resistant crops. Yes, good suggestion. That's a good solution. See, that's what I said. Except for the 2010 guidelines, the entire question is your zone. So whatever innovative solutions you can write is definitely going to impact your marks. So MSP reorientation towards drought resistant steps, good. So that, if someone is growing millets, they'll also have MSP, not only cereal crops. Okay. And then finally conclude saying that, again, the vagaries of climate change are here to stay, and the frequency of El Nino and La Nina and its impact on Indian subcontinent is being felt very regularly. Hence, the need of the hour is to brace ourselves for severe conditions like drought and extreme conditions like floods. Hence, we need to have a proper disaster management focus and have our own solutions in place so that we can manage any disaster in a proper solution oriented way with the involvement of latest technologies. You have not answered one part of the question, that is mechanisms for preparedness to deal with El Nino and La Nina. So whatever we have discussed, those mechanisms you include in your answer. And then conclusion you have missed, Renuka. I don't know if you are in the class. So you have missed the conclusion part also. So try to incorporate both of them, then the answer will look much better. Okay.